Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Gay Let's Play Dragon Age Inquisition. In our last episode, we managed to defeat Corypheus and take down his evil plan, his evil scheme once and for all. The Inquisition is successful, and we are celebrating with a big party. And now, Dorian and Art, well, Dorian's going back into his quarters, but Dorian, if you wanna turn in and, anytime in the near future, you're welcome to. Just saying, So, wow. I just can't believe that this is the end, guys. Skyhold. I mean, it's just one incredibly happy ending. Didn't expect that to happen.
Going somewhere, Amatus? You didn't think one brief chat would be enough, did you?
Are you being impatient enough for what? I'm sorry.
Did you need me for something?
I do. Come with me.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
See? Much better.
Yes. Much better.
Yes, I'm sure you have all the things to say. 2 things in private before you run off. First, you are terribly dull and I hate you.
And what's the second?
I hope this ends soon.
Oh, that's beautiful sunrise. Dorian looks so funny. Art clearly towers over him, but it doesn't matter. I don't think
it is said that Corypheus woke after his long slumber and found the world gone awry. He fought to bring back those days of magic and shadow, to raise himself as a god and set things right. Now, we are left with a scar in the sky to remind us of what almost was. It tells us that a great victory against chaos was won, but left the world forever changed. Consider the mighty empire of Orlais, where Empress Selene remains on her golden throne. The civil war is ended, Gaspar is defeated, but it is said Briala yet plots her return from exile. The Empress now faces a war in the shadows. Elven daggers rule the night, and spies follow her every move. Sadly, Selene soon forgot her gratitude towards the Inquisition. Icy receptions now greet the Inquisition in the Imperial Court, where most prefer that Orlais bow to no one, not even heroes.
All right.
Thus, many believe that when the tide again turns, Selene will stand alone. The Grey Wardens of the South slowly rebuild in the months following the events at Adamant. They declare it time for the Order to emerge from the shadows, to join the rest of humanity in fighting their ancient foes. Rumors abound that they severed ties with their leaders at Weishaupt, and that a bitter war now rages between them.
Wow.
What becomes of Alistair is unknown, save that all news out of Weishaupt soon ends.
How about Angelus?
Does the sudden silence indicate a battle within? Or something far worse? 1 month after the defeat of Corypheus, the Chantry names Leliana as successor to the Sunburst throne.
Oh, wow.
Given the name Divine Victoria, she first declares an end to the Circle of Magi. The mages will now govern themselves.
Really?
She opens the priesthood to other races.
Wow.
Declares support for the Inquisition, and rededicates the Chantry to the principle of charity.
Art can get behind
Divine
that.
Victoria is controversial from the start. Several new sects arise, resisting her reforms and declaring her rule a threat to the faith. Her response is as swift as it is deadly. Unity is maintained, but blood runs through the halls of the Grand Cathedral.
Yeah.
The Inquisition's mages, the former rebels led by Grand Enchanter Fiona, are left with a choice. When Leliana disbands the circles, they leave the Inquisition and reform the College of Enchanters as a new order.
Okay.
The college, they say, will allow mages of the South to gather in peace and seek new solutions to age-old problems. For the moment, it appears to be working. Mages are enjoying unprecedented acceptance throughout Thedas.
I like that Morgan is narrating the slides at the end.
And what of the Inquisition itself?
Ah.
Its military might has grown, now rivaling that of kingdoms. Fear of the Inquisition's army has become the true source of its power. I leave Skyhold now, knowing that power will continue to grow. The Inquisitor is a symbol to many, a leader of the changing world order. To others, he has become a target. They linger in the shadows, waiting for their day to come. When it does, the Inquisition shall stand, ready.
Kieran's still with Morgan, which is good. I'm glad Morgan and her son are able to be together. Wow. But where did Solus go? Wow. That music, guys. Alright, we did it, guys. Like 300-ish, maybe give or take. I don't know how many episodes this is. I clocked probably not quite 300. I don't think I'll quite hit 300, but like well over 200, most likely well over 250 episodes. My immediate thoughts. So to be perfectly honest, I thought that the final battle was a little underwhelming. It was a bit anticlimactic in many ways, and maybe a lot of it's because I leveled up so much, because I actually like played thoroughly, that my levels were so high that the battles between Corypheus and the dragon were a lot shorter than they probably could have been, because, you know, defeating the Archdemon at the end of Origins took a bit of time, and it had a more epic feel because you had to fight through the different parts of Denerim, you know, leading up to the ending, the final battle. You know, you had to fight through Fort Draken. It was a lot more involved. The final battle was a lot more involved than this one, because this one it was just you walked up to Corypheus and you fought him for a little bit, then you fought the dragon, then you fought Corypheus. So, and then in Dragon Age 2 there was a bit more as well. You know, there was the entire ending took about an hour and a half or 2 hours in Origins, and about an hour to an hour and a half in Dragon Age 2. This one, I was able to basically complete the final chapter in 15 minutes or less, I would say. 15 minutes, maybe 20. So, because of that, the final chapter was underwhelming. I expected it to be a lot longer. I expected it to at least to be about as long as the previous main story quests as before, because again, those were a good 2 hour long story quests, so by comparison. So yeah, that is one big disappointment that I had. It was anticlimactic and underwhelming. I was expecting there to be more, but that's okay. So that's really my only main critique of the ending. The only other critique that I have of the game is the way that they dealt with Hawke's personality. I don't know who that guy was, but that was not Clive Hawke. His personality just didn't fit at all. Especially, I mean, this is completely ignoring the fact that he was totally not acting like he was a blood mage himself. There were just a lot of things about the way that my Hawke acted that was really jarring. And I guess you could argue, well, you know, it doesn't matter if your Hawke was a diplomatic Hawke or a a humorous Hawk or a pragmatic Hawk, because you can set that, which I did in my in the Dragon Age Keep. So unless this is a bug, I'm hoping this was a bug, but if it wasn't a bug, I was very disappointed in how the writers handled Hawk's personality, because you could have argued, well, it's been 3 years since the end of Dragon Age 2, maybe during those 3 years Hawk has gotten a lot more bitter regardless of his personality. But if that really was the case, if that was really the explanation, then why bother having the keep track of Hawk's personality? Like, why bother with that at all if it's not really gonna make a difference as to how he interacts with your Inquisitor? And I just feel like it would be a lot more interesting to be able to see the different personalities of Hawk interact with. I understand that there's a challenge in that you can't have your Hawk act exactly the way you want him to because you don't control him anymore. You don't control his dialogue. So I challenge BioWare to consider this idea, and I kind of had this idea going into Dragon Age Inquisition when they were first talking about possibly bringing Hawk and your Warden into the game, is you can let the player select the dialogue choices for your Hawk. You know, like going into the next future games, if Art was to come back, if your Inquisitor was to come back as a character in the game, they should let us, the players, choose the dialogue options for our Inquisitor, in addition to, you know, our main hero in the future games. That way, we can dictate, this is what my Inquisitor would say. That would help so much with his personality. And then for people who have never played the previous games, who never played Inquisition, who never played Dragon Age 2, you know, they can opt to they can do an option to say, just select, you know, whatever the default option is automatically. I don't want to have to go through selecting what Hawk or my Inquisitor would say, because if I didn't play the previous games, I don't know what their personality is like, so just give me the default. So I really feel like that would be the best way to execute that, because, again, even if they were to give the players the ability to select the dialogue of their Inquisitor or their Hawk moving forward, assuming their Hawk survived Dragon Age Inquisition, it doesn't necessarily mean that our characters will agree with each other. And I think it'll be really interesting role-playing different characters that disagree with each other. And they're not necessarily picking the exact same thing as everybody, as their own main hero is picking. So that's really, I think, what my biggest critique. Other than that, I think BioWare hit this out of the park. This is amazing. You know, overall, the story, the writing, the characters, everything that I wanted out of this game was amazing. The romances were done so well. I feel so spoiled by all of the Cullen fan service. It's ridiculous, and I feel so spoiled by it. But you know what? I don't care. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all, and I can't wait to play again, to romance Iron Bull and to romance Cullen. It's gonna be great, and I just BioWare did such a great job. I'm so glad they took an extra year. As soon as I found... Oh, we have extra stuff.
I knew you would come. You should not have given your orb to Corypheus, Dread Wolf.
I was too weak to unlock it after my slumber. The failure was mine. I should pay the price. But the people... they need me.
He's Dreadwolf.
I am so sorry.
Oh my...
I am sorry as well, old friend.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold it. Okay. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Wait a minute. Wow. So, wait, what just happened? First of all, mind blown again, Solus is the Dread Wolf. So Mythal and the Dread Wolf. So did the Dread Wolf just kill Mythal? I don't know what just happened. That ending, I don't know if that's supposed to be open to interpretation, because what I thought I saw was Solus as the Dread Wolf ended up killing Mythal, killing Flemeth, who now has the soul of both the old god that was in Kieran and her soul. So is Solus going to be the next big bad in the next Dragon Age as the Dread Wolf? Because he was the one, the Dread Wolf was the one who locked up all the old gods. He locked up all the old gods. But Mythal seemed not to be bitter against him for that. He was like, hi, old friend. You know, you locked me up, but that's okay. Well, actually, she apparently got murdered or whatever. Solus, oh my gosh. So many things are coming back. They're making sense. So he wanted to lock up the old gods. So that was part of the reason why he wanted to join the Inquisition and help the Inquisitor, because this Corypheus is trying to become a god, and he wanted Corypheus to be locked up in the Fade. So I guess Solus wanted that orb to make sure that the gods stay locked up, is my guess. That's another reason why he didn't want to drink from the fountain. He didn't want to drink from the well because he knew that he would have to succumb to the will of Mythal, and he didn't want that. And that conversation that Solus has with your Inquisitor about, you know, he had so much respect and admiration, and I forgot exactly what the conversation was. I have to look back on it again, but the whole thing with Art, and he's asking him like, what motivates you, or you know, how is this changed you or not changed you? You know, why do you do the things that you do? Is it for the greater good? You know, things like that is interesting stuff, knowing now who Solus actually is. And the last thing he said to Art was, you know, whatever happens, just know that I always respect you. So I'm wondering if Solus is going to be the next big bad in the next Dragon Age. Mind blown! That was a good ending. That was a good way to end this game. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited! Now I really want to. I wasn't worried. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I definitely want to now have like some post-analysis of this game. May not necessarily be character by character. I might do one, again, character by character, but I also want to do some analysis and discussion about this game. Possibly even with some of you viewers out there. I could do another podcast and do it with some of the fans, and talk about Dragon Age. So I haven't decided yet. I'm still figuring out the details. I definitely will be posting an announcement to provide you with the details once I think about it, because I just have to sit down and assess all of this. So, okay. I don't want to talk too much more about Solus and the ending, because I want to give myself time to absorb it and think about it, and give you guys some time to think about it too. But, man, okay. I'm just going to continue in talking about my review of this game. Again, I hope that people who had lost faith in BioWare, my biggest hope for this game is that people who had lost hope or respect for BioWare, people who felt disappointed in Mass Effect 3, who felt disappointed in Dragon Age 2, I hope that they end up playing this game, and hopefully they will feel that BioWare has redeemed themselves, or at least is working very hard towards redeeming themselves. I personally think they did a great job of showing that they were back, and they were redeeming themselves. And quite frankly, again, a lot of the reason why I think BioWare was having issues with the previous game was because of EA. But anyway, I'm happy that EA allowed them to extend the development of this game for another year. I don't think this game would have been nearly as awesome as it was if they didn't have that extra year. Because we wouldn't have had things like... The Qunari race would not have been available. That was one thing that they said that they were able to do because they had another year of development. The romances, a lot of the romances would not have been available. Solus's romance was not he was not supposed to be romanceable at first, but then they were able to add him in later. And I can see why now it would have been, they weren't originally thinking of Solus as a romanceable person. And, you know, the extra development time also allowed any race and any gender to ride the bull, to romance the Iron Bull. So there's just a lot of little things that I again, people might rage when they delay a game, but I am glad when they do, because I feel like, yes, please do not release this game until it is ready. And I feel like this game, you know, flaws and all, it wasn't a perfect game. There were definitely a bunch of bugs. I know another huge complaint that a lot of people had was the controls, the combat controls. I know Reclusiarch has been struggling with it, and I'm hoping, really hoping that they'll be able to address. BioWare has said that they were listening to people's concerns who are playing keyboard and mouse, you know, playing on the PC, to try to make the controls, try to do something for those people so that they're able to play the game more comfortably. Who knows? By the time this video is released, they probably already addressed all those issues. But that is a big thing that people were concerned about. I admit it took me a while to get used to it. Like, I don't know if you saw, but definitely when I first started playing the game in Haven, I was struggling, like, figuring out the controls. And even then, I still prefer a lot of the Dragon Age 2 controls over this, and even some of the Dragon Age Origins controls over this. But who knows? Maybe it'll get better over time. Gosh, so many things. So many great moments. So many mind-blowing moments. This is solid. This was a masterpiece. I've been going back and forth and deciding whether or not I actually like this game better than Origins, because I loved Origins. Origins is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. One of my very, very favorite games of all time. And I love a lot of games. There's a lot of games that I absolutely adore. But Origins has a very special place in my heart. And I want to say that this one probably slightly exceeds Origins. All right, I'll even say, yes, this one is better than Origins. I think that I think that the ending could have been more involved. It was a bit underwhelming. The final battle, I mean, was more underwhelming. I loved all the stuff at the end where you got to talk to your companions and you got to have that final romance scene with Dorian. You know, all of that was great, and I liked that they still did the slideshow at the end, but they used Morrigan to narrate the slideshow. That was a very good touch. I'm very excited to see how my choices with Empress Celine, like all the choices with who's the ruler of Orlais and Divine Justinian. I mean, this is going to be huge going forward. Like Thetis, the fact that the circles are gone, and the fact that with Liliana, or as I guess Victoria, is it Victoria that she got? Divine Victoria, is now empowered. Like, she's trying to get all races to be able to serve as priests in the clergy. It's just like Qunari, elves, dwarves. That was the part that that Art really liked a lot, with Liliana. So there were a lot of decisions in this game, and I love how virtually all of the decisions were tough. Not like this is the good decision and this is the evil decision. It was more like I can see. You saw me. I was debating a lot of them, trying to figure out what I would do, and ultimately trying to force myself to think not necessarily what I would do, but what Art would do. What would Art do? And that could be very challenging sometimes. The operations, ingenious. I love the operations. It really gave it a feel of different people. There were so many things that you did operations. You like to open up other parts of the map, to like help other people, to help your party members, to help your companions, to assist everyone in the Inquisition. The agents were amazing. Harding was amazing. there were so many little things that really made this feel like you were in charge of a powerful group. It wasn't just you. It wasn't just even you and a party members. It wasn't just you and just a few supporting characters. It's you and an entire organization, an entire headquarters. And the fact that the Skyhold, the sheer size of Skyhold, you know, it was amazing. And just seeing all of the different rooms and all the purposes for the rooms, it like, you really felt like you were the leader of a group. And I can't think of any game, I cannot honestly think of any other game that did it as well as Inquisition did. They so many attention to detail. Judging on the throne, like you had so much control, and you had so much say, and and you didn't just get that power overnight. It grew. You gradually earned it. It wasn't like, boom, you're in the Inquisitor and everybody just happened to listen to you. Like, I love the progression of Art's power from him being like someone who was a suspect as the bad guy who caused the chantry to explode, to elevating himself over time, earning trust from the companions, earning trust from the advisors, earning trust from the people at large. Just gaining, like, the big shifting point was, of course, when Haven was destroyed and you got that epic scene just before they saw Skyhold, which is, and now it makes sense why Solas was the one who knew about Skyhold, because he's been around that long. And he knew about all of he knew about the elves. It all makes sense. So much about Solas makes sense. I knew he was older than what he seemed to be. It seemed like I knew he was older than what he seemed to be. And it explains why he has that connection to the Fade and why he has the connection to spirits. That is amazing. So many things make sense now with Solas. But anyway, but that was the turning point, was when they started singing all of Haven started singing The Dawn Will Come, the main theme of the Dragon Age, and you could see as they bowed and got down on one knee in front of Art how much they respected him and how much they turned to him as the leader. Even before he was declared Inquisitor, it was just understood these people believed in him. A Qunari who, again, was originally thought, a lot of them, those people there were the same people who were ready to persecute him. Just seeing, I'm glad that BioWare took the time to show that rise in power, to show that progression, that it didn't just fall in his lap. Art earned it through the deeds that he did, through the tasks that he accomplished, through the goals that he met. He earned it, and he didn't become Inquisitor overnight. You just saw it. You just saw it in everything that went on in the story, and that is what I love about the Inquisitor story. Until the very end, when it all comes together and, you know, everybody's doing everything that they can, putting in all of the resources and efforts, no matter how high or low you were, no matter what position you were, everybody played a part, everybody played a role. They did a great job too with the advisors. A lot of people were worried. I'm sure a lot of people worried, again, who are like, well, I don't know if I want to romance Cullen or Josephine because they're just advisors. And in the past, you know, the BioWare romances haven't seemed to be as good with, you know, the non-playable characters, the non-party members. From what I have heard, you don't have anything to worry about. I mean, I definitely will see it for myself when I go after Cullen. But from what I've heard, the Cullen and Josephine romances are just as fulfilling as the party member romances, and maybe in some cases, if not more fulfilling, because they wanted to, because of the fact that they didn't travel with you on in the adventure on the party. Maybe they put in a little bit extra of effort onto those romances. So, bravo, BioWare, amazing. So glad I played this game. It's well worth the money that I spent. I would recommend it. If anyone loved Origins, if you love Dragon Age Origins, you need to buy this game. You need to own this game. It is so good. So good. Loved it. And the replayability, I want to go and replay it now. I want to replay it now so I can start up my, my Inquisitor, which I'm going to do. I am going to be doing 2 gay replays, 2 gay replay of Dragon Age Inquisition, and it's not going to be a full playthrough at all. It's just going to be highlights. I'm pretty much going to be using those 2 replays to only highlight the parts of the decisions that I didn't make, with art. Like, for example, siding with the Templars instead of the mages, putting Gaspard or Briala on the throne instead of Semper Celine, things like that. And of course, romancing. So one Inquisitor I'm going to do romancing Iron Bull, the other one's going to romance Cullen, and I'm going to try to do these romances again blind. I've been keeping away from their romances so I can experience them blind with you and share those experiences with you. But again, it's not going to be a full playthrough. So that's what's going to be coming up next. But anyway, I think I've talked enough. All the accolades and all the things that I love about this game, I've been talking about all throughout. I don't have to repeat them all again for you now. But I will say, thank you guys for watching. Again, there are so many Let's Plays of this game, and you definitely should watch as many different Let's Players as you want of this game. I definitely am going to be watching several people's Let's Plays of this game, but just the fact that you're watching, that I'm one of the Let's Players that you've been watching, even if you didn't watch all of the videos, if you just jump around and watch some of your videos, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really appreciate that I got a chance to share with you my adventures with art. And I guess, definitely special thanks to all of you who did watch every single episode from beginning to end, because that's a lot of time. 130 something hours, I think. That's a lot of time to be watching YouTube videos. And, you could very well be using the time to do something else. So the fact that you decided to watch mine, I just can't get enough to tell you how grateful I am. And for those of you who liked any of the videos, I make it a point to never, ever, ask people, like and subscribe like and subscribe my videos. I never say that, because it is so much more meaningful to me when I see people doing it on their own without any prompting from me. So, you did it because you wanted to, not because I happened to remind you to do it, or I, requested of you to do it. You did it because you wanted to do it. So, those of you, that being said, of course I want to say thank you and recognize that I do appreciate it when you guys do like and subscribe by your own volition. This is great. This is so beautiful. So, everybody's gone. Oh, everybody's still here. I was like, where did everybody go? Oh my gosh. But, I just wanted to end this video with Doriart, because that's how I normally like to end my playthroughs with people. So, hey Dorian. Yeah, maybe I should be behind you this time, Dorian. No, I'll just have you guys side by side. Aww. Aww. Okay. Alright, well that's enough. Alright guys. Thank you guys so much for watching my Let's Play. Gay Let's Play of Dragon Age Inquisition. This is an amazing time. I have waited for so many years to play this game and to share my first time experience with you. And hopefully you guys will enjoy something of mine that I do at some point in the future again. So, until next time everybody, love yourselves and love each other.